It's Saturday, August the 30, 2024. This is it. The official end of summer as far as I'm concerned. So, that being the case, I'm out here, I'm going to feed some bees. Some of these you see are just piles of boxes. There's not beehives. And I have to clean up the apiary. There's stuff everywhere. It's been a busy summer, so that's my excuse. So I've got my skids of pails out here. I've got 36 of my big pails. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I haven't counted the big colonies yet, but I did count the small ones, and I've got my 33 pails here for the small ones. I can't use the big pails easily on the 6-frame nukes because I can't get 3 of them across. Now, I'm pretty sure, I talked to Ian about that, and I'm pretty sure he said that he's put one big pail over 2, I think he was talking about like a double 5-frame that's kind of under one lid or something. Not under one lid, but he's put one big pail over 2 feed holes, and that works out just fine. So I guess it might be the same sort of principle as using a queen excluder and then a shared honey super. Same kind of thing to the bees. But regardless, I've got the gallon pails for these. The big pails are 2.5 gallons. Nice thing is the big pails, I only need 2 of them to feed up for winter. These little guys, you know, who's to say? So if I'm putting 10 gallons on a pallet, say on a 2-way pallet, if I'm putting 10 gallons of syrup on that, then you'd think I should put 10 gallons on this because it's pretty well the same thing. There's only 2 less frames there. So 2 of those, 3 of those gallons would be 9 gallons for that pallet. So it looks like I need 3 of these gallon pails for each one of these 3-way, or each one of these 6-frame nukes. So just kind of doing math in my head there as I talk. I hadn't had to figure it out. So I need 3 of those. So, you know, it's a little more inconvenient because with the 2.5 gallons, I can come fill the pails, bring them out, put them on the hives, come back with my tank system, stretch out the long hose, and just fill up the pails at the hive one time. I often fill it twice, but you know, because if they run out completely, then there's time wasted. So I'll try not to let them run out. So I'll put, you know, the first one, and then the second one might be, the first one is 12 liters, and the second one might be 10 liters, and the third one, you know, might be a few liters. But these little guys, I have to do it 3 times, and they're only 4 liters, so it's only a gallon. It's not even 4, it's 358 because it's a US gallon. So yeah, so that's just kind of the logistics here of what I'm doing. Little thing, you know, I've been at this for 9 years, and I thought of something yesterday. You watch other people's videos, and I'm thinking again of Ian's videos. Sometimes you see the crew working in the yard, and they got the radio and the truck going, and everybody's happy. I've never done that. I've never been the guy who's got to have music going the whole time. I'll even drive across country for days and never turn the radio on in the car. It's just not a thing for me. I do enjoy it. It's a good pastime. But recently, I put a little, I recently bought a little Bluetooth outdoor speaker. It's a weatherproof, and I just took it to my phone and I listen to the local radio station. So it's just something to pass the time. And I did that yesterday as I was feeding bees, and it did seem to help, you know. It helped kind of get out of your head and get out of the drudgery of the thing, because it's something to distract you, I guess. And also it's nice that they announce the time periodically, so you can keep track of things. So anyway, that's what I've got going here. I'll turn that on when I'm working. And yeah, that's That's about all I've got going on this morning. And then once I'm done feeding the bees here, I have to go work in the honey house. I still have some equipment to set up in there for extracting. And then get ready for tomorrow. I should be ready for that tomorrow so I can hit the key in the morning. I need to go and pull my out yard. It's going to be a long day. There's 91 deep supers over there. And I really want to do it. I really like to do that in one day because the part I hate the most about harvesting an out yard is loading and unloading my tractor. It just really scares the crap out of me to do that. I just think, you know, if there's any one thing that I do in my job where I could die, it's loading and unloading a tractor. So I try to do that as carefully and as few times as possible. And so that means I need to harvest that entire yard in one day so I can, you know, only load and unload the tractor one more time. And that's not going to be one more time, it's going to be 3 more times because I have to move the bees from both out yards. So that's, you know, a whole other set of load and unload. But those are the things that drive me to do things a certain way. You know, preference, mitigate effort, and mitigate danger. So just some talk about that. I'm stalling now. I'm not done my coffee, and I gotta get feeding these bees. This isn't very exciting, it's just me walking around with pails. But there's like 100 colonies here, so I get some steps in. I didn't bring my Fitbit, I should have. They sent me an email one time, they said, "You're cheating, you're lying, you didn't walk that far." Yeah, I did. It's a lot of steps. All right, thanks for watching. It's Sunday, September the 1, 2024. And I'm exhausted just thinking about today because this is going to be a tiring day. I've just arrived at my out yard. I've got my trailer here that you can't see in the shot. Truck full of stuff. I've got feed pails in there. I've got covers for the honey. I've got some fume boards if it comes to that. I've got my leaf blower if it comes to that. I always want to come prepared. My little orange buddy here to do the heavy lifting. And I have 91 deeps of honey to harvest here today. Now the process is going to be that I'll pick those. I've got my Backsaver 6100 in here. You can hardly see it right behind there. And I've got pallets here. I've got some empty 2-way pallets. And so I'll pick off the honey boxes with the Backsaver, put them on the pallets, and then use the tractor to put them on the trailer. And I've got the covers in here because I expect there to be some pretty serious robbing here today. And this takes me a long time, so they certainly have a lot of time to start to get robbing by the time I'm done. So yeah, there's nothing left to say but just get at this. I'm gonna light the smoker. Got my veil ready. I got my jacket and long pants ready too, just in case things get wild. And that's really about it. Yeah, no more to say. Let's just get at this. If you watched my other video, harvesting in my main yard, I described some of the challenges with using the Backsaver and the tractor. So I need to situate my pallet so that I can access it from both sides with the Backsaver to put the boxes on it, and then I need to access it from the other side to carry it away with the tractor. I'm not really sure how this is going to work because I've got this fence here. I don't really want to take the fence apart. I think I might have to end up ferrying all of the boxes down to the end here outside the fence so I can set them on the pallet and then collect them with the tractor. Boy, that's going to be a lot of walking. Okay, stop complaining and get to work. I bought some of these old covers years ago, and they're in pretty rough shape. I often think I should take them to shop and kind of fix them up, but I never do. But they sure fill in nicely when I'm low on covers for a job like this. Okay, moment of truth. Did these escapes work? And boy, there's a lot of bees in there. Okay, so now I know what kind of day it's going to be. It's going to be a really hard day. It's going to be a hard day. I think I'm going to fume board that. This stuff is called Honey Bandit. I have to get a different lid for it. Expensive. That's 50 bucks for that bottle. Was when I bought it. It's probably gone up now. I know people give me grief about how to use these. That's just fine. The whole idea is just get some in there. They say around the edges mostly. I think having it in a spray bottle would be really good. Stuff smells like wedding cake. Made of almonds, I guess. So in the meantime, I'll check this. Problem with fume boards, you need a sunny day. Today's a sunny day, which is good. But you're pulling a box at a time. Really only clears that one box, so I have to take them onesies, and that top is Coroplast, which I don't think is the best material for that, but it's black, and I can't put my smoker on it. So it's got a few bees in it too. Looks like I'm gonna be employing a few fume boards today. You don't really need one fume board per hive because you just kind of rotate them as you go. And you don't have to put all this stuff on it every time. You load it up, it'll work for a while. I just don't want it to tip over. It's expensive. Okay. So I'll set, they say to set it corner-wise. I don't know. I'll set a few of these. And then I'll go back. Set a few, and by the time you've spent 5 or 10 minutes setting them, you can go back and start harvesting again. So you certainly don't need one each. If you had half a dozen or so, should be enough. I'll get the back saver out of the way here. I often use the fume boards here, but I don't often use them anywhere else. Maybe that's just a function of me harvesting this yard a bit too late. There's no flow, so that's a difficulty right there. It's got a felt. This is a felt underneath it here for that juice to kind of soak into. And then it gases off when the sun hits it. Yeah, these didn't clear well at all. Pretty disappointed. Oh, the bees are cranky too. Jeez, stung a couple times already. Yeah, those are clear. And set 8 fume boards now, and that's nice and clear. So I can take that top one. This is going to be a little problem with the 4s because I'm not sure I can lift high enough to lift the top one off. This fence is close again. I just got to be careful not to trip on it. Pretty good, just a few bees there. Now, I've asked the question, and people have also asked me to use a fume board in conjunction with a bee escape. That's not proper form because you've got 2 different rates here. Bee escapes work over days, fume boards work in minutes. You can't force bees, it's not like a funnel or something. You can't force bees through that escape in that fashion. So normally you wouldn't use them in conjunction. This bee box has got no bees in it, but it's also got no honey in it. There's like 1 frame, I think. Oh, gotta harvest it anyway, take it home. Now, I messed up here. I forgot to set an escape on this hive. So hopefully the fume board does the trick, which is the correct way. Okay, moment of truth. Can I lift that one off? It's not very heavy, but no. Nope, can't do it. I got a few boxes from a beekeeper years ago, and he was one of these beekeepers that knew everything. And I didn't know better, but I learned that if you you're talking to a beekeeper who knows everything, be careful, because they're not going to learn anything, right? And you'll find out what they don't know. And I found out these boxes are not standard dimensions. But I guess his boxes are standard and everybody else is wrong, according to him. These are clearing pretty good with these fume boards. I wouldn't say there's lots and lots of bees in them, but the fewer bees I can end up with, the honey house, the better. It's warm enough that the time it sits there, the propolis is sticking down the fume board. And fume boards are working pretty good, I think. And I think that's largely because it's a sunny day. It's, what is it, about 22 or so degrees out here. Just a little breeze, but not much at all. Of course, it was windier when I was trying to light the smoker, which, you know, that's kind of Murphy's Law, right? Boy, some of this honey sure looks nice. Some are too tight, some are too loose. Okay, you haven't seen this off camera, that I've just been putting the supers on these two pallets, and now I'm going to put the pallets on the trailer. And again, you say, well, can't you lift the supers onto the trailer? I can. I don't know that I can lift them more than one high, so I could put them 3 high, and I might even actually put a pallet near the edge and get it 3 high on that pallet. But what's the next step? Now I've got a 2-way pallet with 3 high on the edge, and then what? I need to turn that 2-way pallet around so I can fill the other end of it. So it's a logistical conundrum there. So, you know, I just don't see another way. If I wasn't using 2-way pallet, I suppose, but then I would need a pallet jack of some kind, a dolly. You guys have dollies like that, though. Maybe I should go to that system to move then the little, you know, 1-way pallet on the trailer. So maybe that would be a better system for me, because the one thing I really hate is loading and unloading a tractor. I would love to be able to do this and not bring a tractor. You can see how the little tractor just, you know, lay it right back to get the tractor to lift it. I put these boards on here just to catch the top box, because the bottom of the top box is just above my rack there, so it could slide back on me. That's 2 pallets. There's 10 more pallets to fill. Okay, let's start at the beginning here again. Well, look at it. It looks clear. I can hear them though. It's the drones. The drones can't get through the queen excluder. So I guess if I didn't take the excluder off, I didn't queen check this one, so I'm gonna have to do that. It doesn't look good. There's only about 3 seams of bees in here. There are quite a few queenless hives in this yard, and sometimes what appears to be queenless hive is just a queen that's gone above the excluder. So in a queenless one, I always want to check that bottom box that there's no brood in it, because if there's brood in it and I take that back to the honey house, that's a disaster. Because there's tons of bees in it. And then I've got to deal with those. I need to blow those out. Don't go away, son. Out of that stuff. It's gonna be a long walk when they start to rub heavily. Meaning to bring a lopper to deal with this tree. I think I'm going to try and take the two. This is just gonna get worse. I'm getting upset. The bees get wild. Sure packed away that 2 pounds of patty. Man, I've never given 2 pounds of patty at once before. It's Monday, September the 2, 2024, and a beautiful day it is. A little breezy, but that's just fine. It is 26°C out here, full sun, not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful, beautiful day. And considering what my day was like yesterday, there was one little piece of anxiety that was taken away from me, and that piece of anxiety was the forecast, meaning that if I didn't finish that job over there yesterday, I could finish it today, weather-wise. So I got home and I unloaded the truck and the tractor, unloaded the honey, put it in the honey house, and went to bed. And I decided I'm taking Monday off. And I actually decided I'm taking Monday off, except I'm going to decouple the trailer, I'm going to unload the truck, yada, yada, yada. And that plan changed this morning. I said, screw it, I'm taking today off. So I'm so glad I did. I've been getting some rest. I had a nice breakfast with my wife, spending time with her. We did a little lunchtime live stream today. And yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful day. So what I thought I'd do is give you a look in the honey house as to what this crop looks like as it's sitting there in the honey house. You can see I brought in a lot of bees yesterday, and this is going to make extracting a lot of fun. So look at all the honey boxes, all the way over to there. I should count again, but I think I've got about 300 deeps here, plus the oddballs you see sitting on top. Most of those are comb honey boxes. There's a couple of deeps over there, but yeah, so this extracting line has to be put together. I haven't even got that ready yet. Oh boy. And then get this stuff moving through. These bees are going to make things really difficult. You see, haven't turned the lights on in here. I don't know what the deal is here. Maybe there's a queen in there, who knows. Yeah, I didn't think they were quite that bad. But, oh well, what are you going to do? Open the door here and they tend to fly out, but then they start flying back in again. They're still going out. So let's have a look around. Not much to see, just a bunch of boxes. Boxes, boxes, boxes everywhere, as far as the eye can see. So this is the honey from the main yard. I brought that in first, and then my small out yard, the honey is here, and those 12. So there's 6 skids here and 6 skids there. That's the big out yard. So it looks like the big out yard and the small out yard almost made the same amount of honey. Very similar anyway. I've labeled some of my small out yard, I've labeled here. And I need to label those too. I just like to track the lot numbers, the locations and whatnot. So that is what's going on. I'm really trying to avoid working right now. I need the rest. I left the house and I said, I'm just going to go for a walk and make a little video, and I promise not to work. And then I said, who am I kidding? And my wife laughed. She knows me. So anyway, boy, there's bees everywhere. Let's go on outside and see what we can see. It's definitely a day for sunglasses, but I want to show you something. I was having a tough time yesterday, And you saw in that video that I used my gas-powered leaf blower a bit, and it just was having such a hard time it wouldn't stay running, typical for small motors, and particularly mine because I don't take care of them very well. So I've got to take some responsibility there. So I texted my wife and I said, can you run to town for me? She said, sure. And I sent her a picture from the store's website, and I said, go to town and get one of these. So she did. And the Milwaukee M18 battery-powered leaf blower. I'll tell you, that sucker does the job. It really goes. So that starts every time. I don't have to leave it running. And it seemed to run a really long time on the battery. So I don't know how much battery's left in it even. I got 3 out of 4 bars still. I didn't run it lots and lots, but I definitely got some use out of it. So I'm very happy and highly recommend the Milwaukee M18 leaf blower. I have another Milwaukee leaf blower, but it's really, really small and it just doesn't do it. So that's the tool. So you may have seen in a previous video that I got the home yard under pails. This has got a box sitting up here to be rubbed out. So there's a number of pails here. I don't have a colony count right now, but I will get soon. There's a few shakeouts to do here yet. There's one that ended up with chalk brood, so I need to take care of that. Others are just failed recleans or something like that, so need to shake those out. And I know people sometimes ask, well, why don't you do a combine? Yeah, well, a shakeout is a combine, okay? To me, that really is the same thing, because I'll shake those bees out here among the hives, and they'll just march into another hive and take up residence. He said, we'll do a combine, you know, put a queenless deep on this one, maybe a newspaper. I did this one here. I think I'm pointing at the right thing. I can't see the screen. I did a newspaper combine there. Those work great. I have great success with those. However, I don't want any more doubles. So I don't want to put another deep on top of a single. I've got all the doubles that I want. And why I don't want more doubles at this point is that I don't have copious feed resources to put in that second box, and it's the 2nd of September. So I'm running out of time to feed as far as that goes, and that's the reason I can't put a double. These doubles I made with the full feed supers, so full feed boxes from last year's dead outs. So there's 35, give or take. We'll count up here pretty soon and see what they are. Yeah, so I'm just walking around trying not to do any work. I talked about this on the live stream today. People got talking about solar wax melters. I bought this one last year. Was it last year? It was last year. It's sure nice, and it's got quite a slope to it. See, it's got quite a rake to it. I don't know that I'd build it with quite that much rake, but it works just fine. And I was just saying on the live stream today that if I were to advise anybody building something like this, make it wide enough to put a frame in, right? Because I can put my foundationless frames in here. So, you know, I can put 2 deeps or 3 mediums high, and at least two layers, and this just cleans those right up. I've got my queen excluders here. It's already melted all the wax off of those. I can't unload it because they're so hot. I just use my J-hook hive tool to lift them up. So that's my little piece of advice if you're going to build a solar wax melter. And this wax melter has, you can see that the wax that I melt, I'm not using it as a final render, right? I'm just using it to get it into a brick. And this has some fairly large holes in it, and they get clogged anyway with the slum. But the slum is really all that filters the wax. It comes out pretty clean. So that's my solar wax melter. I really like it. I'm just looking around at all the things that need to get done. So I think I better leave. What good's a day off if you work all day? Well, I can't work all day because it's the middle of the afternoon now. So I know I left you hanging yesterday with the honey pull. Things became so hectic and I get so incredibly tired. That was a very, very long day. And so videoing was just kind of fell off the radar. I need to go back over there and tie up a few loose ends. But suffice it to say, all the honey is in for the season. Now, I have a luxury that a lot of people don't have, and that's the lack of hive beetles. So the honey sitting in my honey house is pretty secure in that regard. What will hasten the extracting process is the onset of granulation, which is unknown because the exact nectar sources are unknown. Some nectar sources will granulate fairly quickly, so I need to get on it. I don't usually have considerable wax moth problem in there, so I'm not really that concerned about that. And I know I'm a silhouette, so you can hear the crickets probably. I always get lots of crickets this time of year. Anyway, just thought I'd come out for a little walk. I've been relaxing in the house and bring you along, catch you up a bit. And I'll update you with the extraction process. And there's a little bit of bee work to do yet. I've got to treat the bees still. I got my numbers back from KRTP. They're pretty good, but definitely some of those colonies need to be treated. So I'm going to be doing some stuff in that regard. And I'll fill you in on exactly what I do when I do it. Because, you know, plans can change, right? But we will see. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Take care and have fun. It's Tuesday, September the 3rd, 2024. I'm back at my out yard that I just harvested on Sunday. And there's a couple things I want to accomplish here. I left my lifter here, so I wanted to come back and get it. And I thought, you know what, while I got my lifter here, I'm going to do two other things. You know, this yard, I've lost 12 colonies in this yard. Two of those I lost because, well, actually one I lost because it was actually a virgin in the cage when I got the nuke. It was kind of crazy. Somebody's picking virgins at the supplier and putting them in the cage. So, but otherwise I lost a total of 12 colonies here out of 32. So there's 20 left here. And so when you lose a colony, often you don't lose two colonies on the same pallet. So then you end up with something like this, right? So I thought, you know what, I've got this guy here. And so before these pails get emptied and the hive gets really heavy, I'm just going to pick that up and I'm going to put it over there. And there's quite a number of them to do here because there was one, there's an empty space just right here because there was two dead outs, two queenless on one pallet. So I took that pallet away and it's kind of sitting behind me here. And the rest of them, there's one queenless one on a pallet. So I have to move all the rest to a new pallet. I've got the remnant here. I just shake them out in the apiary here at the other hives, and then I put the remnant here. This should be inside the fence because you know, if the bear comes by, he could make a mess of that. And I just leave it there for the bees to clean out. They can clean whatever syrup is in there, whatever honey is in there, put it away in their own hive for the winter. And that'll do everybody some good. And then I can just put these frames away in the shed for the winter. So that is what I'm doing. I'm going to move a couple hives first, and then I'm going to do some shakeouts and move some more hives. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this calamity here that's about to ensue. I'm sure these are not going to be too happy when I pick them up, so I got the smoker tuned up so I don't get pounded too bad, because, you know, I'm in short pants too, so I got to mind my manners. I've got to move some bees away from the handles. They're pretty content. They don't really want to move. I'll just sort of encourage them a bit here. Okay, let's see how this is going to go. Break that off the pallet. This is where things get exciting. Pail. Okay. I should probably just take the pail off, but then the feed hole is open. Sometimes this thing just is like that. Okay, now those bees are sufficiently pissed off. And I don't have another empty spot, so I'm going to have to do some shakeouts before I can move another one. Okay, well, this one, it's got no marking, but it's got no pail. So I'll check that for queen rightness. This one's got a QL, queenless mark. And the first thing that I want to do is confirm that. Because sometimes these things are going through a requeen. And when I was here last, they were just not quite laying yet. And so sometimes now I'll see eggs, etc. So I need to confirm before I start shaking that this actually needs to go. This is not very big, so that's one clue. There was one here that we looked at on Sunday. It was actually laying workers, so if you see laying worker cells, then that's it. Shake it out. That's all you got. So these cells are all full of nectar. So they'll be able to all rob that out. I'll set that aside and they can rob it all out and take it back for winter feed. Yeah, it's plugged right out. Yellow jackets. I've noticed that when a colony's been queenless a little while, I'll pull frames out of the center and they'll just be packed right up with pollen. Whole frame of pollen. Which these are. These are just some syrup or honey around the top. And the rest of it's pretty much right full of pollen. So this one is quite certainly, and I do go through every frame. See, that's another frame of pollen. I could take that, put it in the freezer for my cell builder next year. I will go to the last frame because I have had that queen give me some eggs on the last frame before. But this one did not. There's quite a few drones. So they get shaken and put in the box. This one's not been queenless long enough to have laying workers. I can see the emerged queen cell on the bottom where they attempted a requeen. That didn't work out. There's more emerged queen cells on that one. Oi! I like to start shaking at the far end of the yard because after you shake a couple, boy, it just is a total zoo out here. Bees everywhere. Could have saved myself lifting that head. I just put the frames in the box on the pallet. So now this is my spare box. Okay, again, this one has no pail, so that indicates it might not have a queen. We didn't give it a tablet, so I'm going to check it. Things get a little odd when you have helpers. You don't know what's happened sometimes. I do appreciate the help in a big way. They're pretty chill for queenless, but queenless hives, queenless colonies, I've noticed they're not always pissy. You know, they're quite often fairly easy to get along with. Sort of the same thing. This has got, well, I'll shake that off. This is quite certainly a shakeout, because this is the laying worker one. You can see the comb, how those are raised cells, and that's drones from the laying workers. So I don't have to look any further. Takes 3 weeks. 3 weeks after the last of the brood is emerged. No, 3 weeks from the last egg lay by the queen for the workers to start to lay. So if you see a brood pattern with drones and you think, well, it must be a laying worker or laying workers, there's more than one. But you also see worker brood, like the flat top cells of capped worker brood. Then it's probably not a laying worker situation. And again, it's not one laying worker, it's lots of them. So you're not going to find that one and say, stop that, right? But there are no worker cells here. So if you have copious capped drone cells scattered like that, and you have worker cells as well, then probably what you have is a queen that has a problem. And that's exactly why I don't like to have comb that the bees have reworked willy-nilly and got different sized cells everywhere. Well, they're kind of stingy this morning. Holy cow, stinging me in the back. Because again, if you have the presence of capped worker brood, they've not likely been queenless long enough to develop laying worker status. So you got a different problem. I had that one time a few years ago. I had that. I bought a queen, again, imported queen, and I noticed that. Now you can have a queen that does lay drones. She can either have be poorly mated, so she's laying diploid drones. The suggested diagnosis when I had that problem, the queen had a blocked ovarial because she was laying both. So I had patches of worker brood and patches of drone brood on the same frames. So if you have the presence of a queen, you see the queen, she's a mated queen, she's not a little virgin kind of thing, and you have a mixture of drone brood and worker brood, then you've got a dud queen. She's probably older and run out of ammunition. So this is queen diagnosis 101, according to me anyway. And I don't know everything. There's probably different variations that I'm not getting into. But these are just the things that I've learned and that I've observed. There's a lot of drones, Of course, that's all they're laying, right, is drones. There seems to be, though, more drones than you would expect to have already emerged from the brood, because I don't think a first round of drone brood would have emerged yet in this colony. So here's two more. Look at the beards. Holy smokes. There's so many bees this time of year, and they're kind of useless. There's no point. I mean, all these old bees, they've got no job, they've got no purpose. They don't really benefit you at all. But they're here. And a lot of people around here anyway, Lloyd Harris has done a lot of work in survivorship and longevity of bees, and one of the things that he's really been encouraging beekeepers to do recently is late season splits, or what somebody might call bulk bee splits. You just take all of those old bees, or at least you take a lot of those old bees, put them in a box, and put a nice fresh mated queen in there and let it rock. Now, I think you have to do those before the end of August, though, because she has to start laying up a winter nest. I have not done those. I don't think I want to. And here's why. If I make a bulk bee split, now I will say too, Phil the Bee Man, if you watch his channel, you'll see him talk about this. You'll see there's videos last year he did on this, and you'll also see a presentation he did for our association, the Red River Apiarist Association, on their YouTube channel. And he's worked it out. Phil's a thinker. He's very much an intellectual, and he's a good beekeeper. So he's got it worked out as far as dollars and cents, and it does make sense. However, this is why I don't do it, and I don't think I will, because I don't want that work this time of year, and I don't want that expense this time of year. I'm going to value the queen at $50. Even if I raise it, it's still $50, because it's either $50 of my money or it's $50 of my work, right, and resource. So it's a $50 queen, and I've got to take up equipment, but I'm not going to value that because I have the equipment in my current situation. But it's going to take up equipment, so if you got to add that value. Okay, this one is definitely queenless. And also, I'm going to have to feed him $30 worth of sugar, and maybe some treatments, and on and on and on. So that creating that colony is going to cost me $100. I don't want to go through that expense, right? And the work. I don't want the work either. So the other thing is that colony then is going to cost me $100, and you know, whatever your wintering success with them is, you've got to use that as a multiplier too. You shouldn't lose half of them, but for easy math, let's say you lose half of them. Now that colony in the spring is cost you $200, because you've had to spend $100 on each colony to, you know, on 2 colonies to get one. So you've got $200 into that by spring, and the colony hasn't made you any money yet. And then you got to treat it again, you got to feed it again, you know, so probably you've got $250 into that by the time the honey flow arrives. I can buy a nice nuke in May for $300 and I've saved all that time and bother. So that is why I don't do it. I would rather winter fewer kind of sure thing colonies than more colonies that are going to be, you know, more of a gamble, I'll put it that way. You know, that's just me. I like the way Phil worked it out, because it does make economic sense as a program. So suffice it to say, these are not the winter bees. These bees will be dead before winter. I think it's a really neat idea, and I think it's really neat that you can do that. If I had a spare employee, for example, then I might look at that. Somebody I could just say, go do this. And they can go do that and not interfere with my work. So there might be a business model there. Okay, so here's the idea. Oh, not that. It's not the good idea at all. Should have brought my bee blower back again, because there is bees everywhere. So here's the business idea. Maybe you can take advantage of this It takes a lot of trust, because what I will say is, I said if I had an employee who could just do that and get that, you know, not to bother me with my work, take up my time, then, you know, I might do it. So have a beekeeper you trust come in and do that. Do the work. Get the bees. You can buy their own queens or raise them or whatever they want to do. And then you just kind of sell them. You're basically selling them a package. You know, would be you know, if they buy their own queen, it'd be a queenless package. So you could probably make a case to, I don't know, if you sold that for $50, it'd be worth it, because it's not going to cost you anything, really. You'd probably want to supply the equipment. You don't want somebody else bringing equipment into your apiary. So for example, I could just have some equipment laid out, some boxes with brood comb, and this beekeeper could arrive, and I could say, okay, here's the boxes, here's the hives, go to town. And they could go around and put all these boxes on, and then after a period of time come back. These are right full of nectar. The bees are going to be so happy to clean these out. Come back, strip those boxes off, put their queen in, and take them home, right? So, you know, that's, say that's $50 worth of equipment. Charge them $50 for the bees, etc. Because there's going to be a little bit of bother on my part. Yeah, these are done. So if I did that, then if that beekeeper came in here and made 100 of those, that's $5,000 in my pocket. From bees that are going to be dead in 30 days anyway. Because those bees they have no worth. You know, using them for something is a really good idea. I'm shaking all these out, and they can't fit in those boxes. I'm gonna spread the joy here a little bit. Get my steps in doing this. One thing you can do here to mitigate the calamity is you can take that queenless hive and you can crack that, pick it up, move it away somewhere, and then so all of these returning bees are not going to find you. And you might be surprised how well that works. It does reduce the number of bees you have to deal with by a remarkable margin. I've done that in the past where I might have a really strong colony I didn't care to work, or they might be a little pissy or something, and I'll have my little tractor. I'll just come along and pick up that pallet with my tractor and move it, you know, 50 feet away, do my work, and bring it back. And when I come back, there's bees in the air, and they don't know what happened because home is not here. It works really quite well. Because they keep marching in the front door here, and they're filling this box up again. Okay, last frame. There's far more efficient ways to do this. This just kind of how I prefer. This is a total gong show here now. I can't even get to the box, but I have to take it away so that there's nothing here that looks like home. That's the out yard. I didn't count, but I think there's 20 here now. And got the dead outs there. They're being robbed. They should be able to pick those clean pretty fast. I'm gonna load up the Backsaver 6100 and get back home. I might do more of this at home. It's a beautiful day, and I might just do some shakeouts there because there's a few to do. Not this many, I don't think, but there's a few. So we'll get home and then decide. It's Friday, September 6th, 2024. And I bet you're really glad that it's Friday because this video is getting pretty long. I hope you've enjoyed it though. And so I'm back out of the apiary. I'm not going to belabor this, but I'm out here to apply some mite treatments. I got my results back from the samples that were taken, I want to say last week, but they were kind of all over the map. There was some very low and there was some pretty high. So I've got to add some treatments to these colonies. Now, I'm not going to show you what I'm doing either, because it's no big secret, and I'm not afraid of you telling me I'm doing it wrong, but I'm probably going to do it wrong. Hopefully not. But it's not because it's something I know how to do. I'm learning this, and I don't want to, you know, show everybody to do it the wrong way kind of thing. Not that you guys always do what I tell you to do, but you know, Mike Berry always says it's not a how-to, it's how I do. And to me, it's kind of a disclaimer that don't be doing this stuff because I'm doing it, right? This is not how you're supposed to do all this stuff. So anyway, I'm going to be adding some treatments here pretty quick here today, and just a quick little glance, you might figure out what I'm doing. However, what I wanted to show you was, there's a colony here. This is one of the 3 remaining colonies from last summer. This is one of the colonies that James McNally brought, and I kept at my out yard all summer. And it also is one of the 10 that got Appy Tablet over the winter. And other than just feeding, etc., that's all I've done to this colony. That's all I've done to this colony. Well, since last fall, right? I don't remember if the mites were sampled last fall or not. I didn't keep those records even if it was. However, this probably got Apivar last fall, and then got Appy Tablet before it went into winter. Well, so just think about that. It has not had a mite treatment since, say, September, October, Amatraz in the form of Apivar. This colony tested at 0.29% mites. So just think about that and let that soak in. It's a little better this way. Let that soak in. This colony has pretty much taken care of itself since a year ago. So I don't, you know, I'm not going to draw any conclusions. I'm not going to tell you what to think. Them's the facts. Okay. Now, while we're looking at those, there are 2 others remaining, and I kind of sampled at random when KRTP was here. So there's one here that I didn't sample, and this one is the 3rd of the remaining colonies that made it through winter, and that's 4.86% is what that one sampled at. I sampled that one before honey flow, so I should tabulate those numbers. anyway, I can tell that the pails are still lots in the pails, so that's good. I'll probably have to come in about a week. I'm not in too much of a hurry to change the pails. I'm plenty early to change the pails, so I'll just let them have it. You can see though the robbing that's going on anytime a pail has a little bit of a drip out the side. There's bees everywhere on it. I don't see a lot of hornets yet. I've seen a lot of hornets this year, but I don't see a lot of hornets on the drips at this point. So look at the beards. These singles, you know, they just get like that. The doubles get like that too, but you know, not as bad. These doubles are looking good. So okay, so I got to get to work at this, and I'm going to leave that for this week, other than to say, yay, I got started extracting. I got the honey house set up, and I extracted, what is it? I set it up yesterday, and I extracted about 900 pounds, and things went really well. So I was happy about that. So I'll leave you with a little vignette, as it were, of some extracting video. All right, so thanks for sticking with it to the end here, and I really appreciate you watching. Hope you have a really great weekend, and take care. Have fun.